This week, something that hasn't happened in recorded history is about to go down. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Spirit School. I saw on Threads that this astrologist said that this week is the first time a planetary alignment that hasn't happened in 1,000 years in recorded history is going to occur. Not only that, you guys, the month of July alone is just packed with activity. Aside from the beginning of the solar flash, the energy's coming in. Yes, it is not a one-shot deal where all of this energy is going to shoot in at once. It's going to come in different droves. So just be mindful of that. That's what I'm picking up at least. But in terms of July, that was popping off at the beginning of the month. And this month alone, and you can feel it energetically too if you're sensitive to energy, but 14 different planetary alignments happening in July alone. Normally, maybe 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken, happens, but 14, y'all. So all of this integration of the energies coming in, the heart space energy, right? Plus this planetary alignments, it's all the same thing but painted in different colors. So many upgrades, unlocking of your DNA. I'm getting like certain strands coding that hasn't been unlocked, that's connected to you remembering who you are beyond this vessel. I'm talking like your past lives, your star origins, remembering who you are. So I just wanted to run through. So from beginning tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this, so from the 14th to the 22nd is this planetary alignment that hasn't happened in 1,000 years. And it's interesting because I was looking up what was going down 1,000 years ago, and it sort of parallels what's happening now. Technology was accelerating beyond what it would be considered normal or average during that time. So in China, there were innovations in printing, engineering, farming techniques, which added to the increase of food production. There was trade in Africa, connecting Europe, connecting the Middle East and Asia. Trade was just off the scales. And also religion was very, very prominent. So there were a lot of like temples being built, monasteries, pilgrimages to these spiritual sacred lands. And also political power was shifting. So a lot of kingdoms were rising and falling. So there was a lot of revolutions happening during this time, and sort of like uncertainty of who was going to hold power, but also opportunity for people to step in and create their own power dynamic. So I'm just getting right now Attila the Hun. Attila the Hun was prominent during this time or era. I'm just seeing like the old map of that world during this time. Like Asia, Persia, if I'm not, that's what I'm seeing. Like the Byzantine Empire. I don't know what is coming up, y'all. Byzantine Empire, something. But Attila the Hun just going around and conquering. And I'm bringing that up because of this political shift. And also, because I've also had a past life with Attila the Hun. I was part of his army, one of his generals. I'm hearing that. But, which makes a lot of sense, y'all. Why I am the way I am. Many reasons why. We've all had, I'm sure, some sort of past life in some sort of combat. But anyway, so that connects to today because look, this is where it's parallel to each other in many ways. So AI and biotechnology is changing, right? It's shifting the way people live and work, right? There's so much AI being implemented into businesses, into our day to day. And speaking of AI, a lot of people are concerned about what that looks like for the future. Are we going to be completely reliant on that and lose our ability to think for ourselves? But listen, as long as people are able to separate the two, you can use, that's the point of artificial intelligence, to assist you with certain aspects of life or work that can be done very quickly. So having AI be the shortcut to that is, I think, fantastic. It saves a lot of time so that you or whoever you employ or what have you can focus on the bigger picture. But I feel like that is really going to assist and help people progress a lot more. Again, as long as people do not lose their ability to think for themselves. So if you completely rely on AI, that's a different story. That's when it can get really bad. But going back to this, global communication, meaning like people are connecting more than ever right now online, digitally. You're seeing it. People are unifying. Even on TikTok, even on Instagram, wherever, you're seeing people just commenting, connecting with each other, something that couldn't be done many years ago. So this was happening during that time back then when it comes to trade. But us now, I think that's something that's overlooked, the connection with people. You're able to see what someone's doing in a remote village out in like Siberia. You know what I mean? So I think that's really dope. And also obviously the political and economic changes here, that nothing needs to be said about that, other than the fact that you are seeing the collapse of these systems, not only political systems, economic systems, financial systems, right, healthcare systems, all of it, and soon educational system to completely fall apart so that it can be rebuilt on a more stable, just, fair foundation. This is a great time for that. And it is already happening, as you can see, from back then when all those other empires were taken down and other ones were rising. There was a lot of like different regimes trying to create this new, in this modern day, you'd say like governments. And you're seeing that happen all around the world. People have had enough with the unfairness, the disgusting crimes and acts in line with what was happening about 1,000 years ago plus. So everything comes around again, always. But this time it's even more significant because of the consciousness on Gaia now, right? We are split into two different timelines, 3D and 5D, so there's just more potential. And then the interest in space, astronomy, and even our deeper connection to spirituality, just like it was back then. So again, the time right now is very potent for exploration, creation, and tapping in more. So utilize this time to really, if you want, building these ideas that correlates with everything I just said, and get it going, because this would be a very fruitful time to start that. But other than that, y'all, utilize this week because this is all leading up to, again, there's so much activity in July, but leading up to the big Lionsgate portal on August 8th. That's going to be very significant with you, your soul, your spirit, your remembrance, and really connecting even deeper to that heart space, which all trickles back down to your authenticity and your truth.